Brian, did I lose you already?
No, I was looking at. I'm reading the list. Hold on.
Oh.
I'll be right back.
Are you checking it twice? All right. Anyone who may be on and or watching this post, bear with me 2 seconds because I am sharing all this to Facebook.
I love the first one about
what?
The number one on the list.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, you're just reading that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you'd get a little crack out of that. All right. All right, give me 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Let me share this, then we'll kick it off. Holy cow, I've been cutting down a bunch of trees. Very busy.
On the property?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a horse barn being built, 2-story horse barn, so we're kind of clearing a path for that. It looks really good. I gotta get you out of here one of these days.
They gonna put a man cave in it for you?
That's actually the goal. The second story is supposed to overlook the horses, but like a pool table, just some beer shit, and stuff like that. So, all right, cool. I'm doing this. All right.
Oh, you had to tag me on Facebook?
I always got to tag you on Facebook, Brian. Everything I do. Everything I do. Going to the bathroom at Brian. All right. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our third live and third veteran. I'm here with my buddy Brian. We got a cool discussion for you guys today. If you guys are watching this in post, appreciate your patience while we got started. All right, I'm going to jump right into this. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is James. Been doing this for a little bit. We are now starting this new segment of live casting. And every week I'm going to try and bring on a Tampa Bay local only. If you don't live in the Tampa Bay, you ain't going to make it on the live cast, but just want to hear what the local people are doing, get to know the local community. I want to start with some people that I know, introduce you to them, and hopefully they can bring their following to meet me as well. Brian, tell us a little something about yourself.
Brian, down here in Tampa Bay area, born and raised here, ran off to college, ran off to military, and now serving the community again as a firefighter down here. So, and then met you during our time in Honor Guard, then coached you into valeting, and now you have a career playing.
Yeah, so we're actually going to touch up on that because there's some stuff about that I really want to talk about. So, it's kind of a coincidence that my last few guests have been veterans. Like, I honestly didn't really plan it this way. It just so happened to be that literally my first 3 guests were veterans, which I think is actually really cool. I can't forever keep that trend going, but I'm 1 for 1 on veterans right now. Well, I'm 3 for 3 technically. So that's been pretty cool. Like I said, I didn't do that on purpose, but it's pretty sweet how that happened. My first guest, he was a vet, put out an airsofting video that blew up, got over 1 million views overnight. Literally woke up the next day with like 15,000 subscribers, 1 million plus views. And then my last guest, she's my barber. She's a cool person. She just ETS not too long ago. And then here we are with you.
I have to go here.
So first off, how's it going before we really get started? Kind of haven't really heard from you too much. A little bit. I think we're at the same football game this season, last season. I don't remember.
I think it was this season.
Okay.
I think it wasn't the Monday night game. I think it was just one of the Sunday games.
I think I went to 2 games this season. I don't remember.
Was it the Atlanta game?
Maybe. I saw the Packers. Who did I see? I think I saw the Bills, but I think the Bills was last season.
I went to Atlanta, and then the Monday night game, and then the Cincinnati game.
Okay. How's the Cincinnati game?
It was good. I mean, typical Brady fashion. We try to leave, and he wants to try and bring it back, and then just like the Monday night game, we left early, and then he runs it down the field. We're at the gas station filling up, and like, oh, Bucks won. We're like, go figure.
You got seasons for that?
Family friend does.
Okay. How much is that expensive?
Their seats are they're pretty good seats.
Oh. Well, if they ever don't make it, hit me up.
We'll do, man. Then they got.
All right, so you and I met in the military. So that's something I kind of want to talk about, but we don't have to get too deep into it. I'm just curious as to, and if you're wondering what the hell I'm looking at, I've got my notes here. We don't have to get too deep into it, but I'm just kind of curious. Like, you said that you did college first, which is actually something that I didn't know about you. What led you to want to join the military?
I was hoping I was gonna better off my career path and look better on my resume.
Okay, fair enough. Have you realized that that really doesn't happen as well as they say it will? Like, oh, you'll stand out more than all your peers.
Well, having that on my resume didn't, but having the veterans preference does help. After that's probably what's the biggest thing. It's like, yeah, you can go and have those qualifications, but the biggest thing is just getting those few extra points.
Yeah, that actually helped me. It's 10 points, I think.
I think it all depends on the point scale for a specific job. And
so that helped me when I was getting my job with the Department of Defense. So there's like a couple different veteran preference categories. It's like, are you a veteran? Yes. Do you have more than I think it's 30% or more disability, which I was a yes on that. And then I forgot what ribbon it is. I just so happened to be a part of. We were on standby for it, but it was Operation Oak and Steel. Some issue went on in South Sudan that I did absolutely nothing other than stand by to stand by. And I got a ribbon for that. That apparently, if you have it, the Armed Forces Service ribbon. That also qualifies you for more points as well. So I capped out my points because of that, which is really awesome. Ended up getting a pretty cool job with the Department of Defense. But you were an MP, right? You do corrections, or were you?
We were supposed to do L&O, Law and Order, but when we went overseas, it turned into corrections.
Gotcha. So I'm technically, I don't know if I told you, I'm back in the reserves right now, but I'm not in the National Guard. I'm straight reserves. I'm federal, and I'm actually in an MP unit, and they don't do MP shit at all. And I'm actually kind of disappointed. I was like, okay, maybe this would be kind of cool, but like, it seems more like infantry shit. Just you're not in the infantry.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we do convoy escorts. I'm like, okay, well, what do we do at drill? We go to the range and we do that. I'm like, okay, we do battle drills. I'm like I just left that shit. I'm not doing this again.
And you camp.
Yeah, it seems like the legitimate exact same thing, except for they take my cool blue cord away. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I actually just switched to civil affairs. I actually just got in contact with the first sergeant of the civil affairs unit down in Miami, and I'm going to be switching to that. So it's a jump unit, which I'm really excited for. So just come to Miami and jump with me, Brian.
I don't see any reason to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Well, there's perfectly good helicopters we can jump out of too.
If it's in the air, it means it's flying.
Fair enough.
That ground.
So you did that for how long? Quite some time. I mean, you had some stripes.
10 years.
Fuck. I'm about to be at 10 years. If I didn't take my IRR, I'd be at 10 years this July 17th. It's 10 years for me. So, but I think I'm probably about to extend. I'll do 3, depending on how big the Daniel. Let's go. Let's jump, buddy. Um, you remember Daniel, my old roommate, short guy, darker than the night, like Wesley Snipes black. I'm not racist. It's his words. I have to say that for the video.
I'd have to see him.
Okay, yeah, you'd probably reckon cowboy hat, drove a Kia Soul.
I'd probably have to see him again.
Okay, yeah, you'd have to see him. Too funny. Yeah, I can't do the conventional army shit anymore. I really can't. And I walked straight, like my very first day at drill. Like I went into the platoon room and I was like, "Listen, guys, like, I'm 30 years old. I'm not doing this dumb shit. I no. I'll go back in the IRR. I'm good." So that's kind of why I'm making this civil affairs switch, because it's more. You'd think the Army's big boy rules, but it's not. This is more big boy rules. You know, they've got plain clothes, deployments and freaking grow your scruff. You
Yeah.
get to jump out of an airplane. They got good funding, so there was just a lot of shit that I got held back with.
Yeah.
In the National Guard, like they really
Uh,
don't help you succeed.
I mean, civil affairs, they're always recruiting. There's that unit in
Oh yeah,
Atlanta too.
yeah. There is one in Orlando. The Orlando one's not a jump unit. That one's a lot closer to the house. I was going to go to that one, but the one in Miami's a jump unit. And the reserves does something that the National Guard doesn't. They're going to pay me travel because of my distance and put me up in a hotel room. So you want to let me jump, give me stripes, give me a hotel room, give me travel pay? You got a deal.
Yeah.
Because I was freaking breaking even every time I went to drill.
Yeah.
And that was horrible. How far did you have to drive for that?
Just northern Tampa, so 2 hours.
Except
for when we had to deploy the East Coast unit, so we're going over the East Coast, Space Coast.
I was always Ocala, just south of Ocala, which is a hike. Miami, just north of Miami, and then Fort Pierce. It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was really bad, and it's between gas, round tripping, having to get food, snacks, freaking make sure the car's good before I leave. I'd break even. It was miserable.
That's a new Special Forces training, SFAB, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the brown bereters.
Yeah, the assistant training brigade, wherever they are.
Hold on, it'll come to me. Security Forces assistant, something with an A, brigade.
Yeah,
some shit like that. Seems interesting. I mean, I feel like that would be the only thing that I would do if I went back into the National Guard.
I think it's just a knockoff of civil affairs.
Honestly, I do too. But they do more. Yeah.
No, they're more training oriented than they are.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to take the J sets away from like the special forces, so the special forces could do more special forces shit.
Yeah, so they don't mess with all the training.
It sucked for me in the Florida Guard because when they opened up the SFAB, it's all NCO ran.
Yeah,
and they sucked every good ounce of leadership out of the 2 infantry battalions that they had. Every last bit of leadership that was worth a damn just got sucked out, and they left us with all the shitheads, and then they promoted shitheads because they rapidly had to fill spots.
Yeah, I think the civil affairs, when I saw them at one of their recruiting things, I was like, they're like, "Oh, we'll give you your stripes. You can go whatever school you want." Like, so I can go to jump and sniper school. And they're like, yeah, we got all the money. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
My
But then I was like, show me on paper, and he wouldn't do it.
So a friend of mine, she left the 53rd. She was a medic, and she went to civil affairs. And she told me, she's like, it is 100% night and day. She's like, leadership is fantastic, budget's fantastic. She said opportunities are practically endless. She said that they'll kick you out of civil affairs if you're not going to school. Like, they're trying to dump money into you and make you worth a damn, and that's awesome. I never got to go to BLC. It's why I didn't get stripes. Like, I'm like, hey, I want to go to BLC. I want to go to BLC. They never push that, and that pissed me off. And you know that I wanted to go warrant. I wanted to fly.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until like my last month, they're like, re-sign up for 6 years and we'll make sure that we put you over to flight school. I'm like, y'all waited to the last month? I'm like, where can I see that in paper?
You didn't need their approval to go. You could have just.
That's the thing. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I found that out after trying to push that for about a year and a half. I didn't know that at all. And I mean, I'm like, hey, I want to go to this class. I need to schedule the SIFT, and I'm thinking I have to do it through my unit.
Yeah.
I could have done it all on my own, and I didn't know.
Yeah,
And
you could have blindsided your unit if you really wanted to.
That's what I did with my civil affairs unit, and the MP unit I'm in now. I'm like, hey guys, this is what's going on, and I'm not going through you. I'm doing it myself. I just called my platoon sergeant today. I was like, hey, heads up, like, shit's moving, so I'll give you the word when I'm out. Like, that's it. And he was cool about it. I was like, but if I got to go on your guys' time, it's going to take 6 months. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met you, were you in the fire academy or were you just getting hired on?
Probably in the academy. That was 2016.
I think maybe you were out of the academy just looking for a job. It took you a minute to get a job. Were you volunteering for a minute, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
Like, it was almost a year after the academy, but once you go to fire school, then you have to go to EMT school.
Okay.
So now they changed it to where you have to go to EMT school first before you can go to fire school.
What's the significance of that? Is EMT just getting people?
Yeah, too many people are failing EMT.
Damn. Is the NREMT like that freaking hard?
It's not easy.
So I have a buddy who went to paramedic. He just recently got hired on with Sarasota, and he's still studying for that test. He's like, dude, it's not an easy test at all. Are you going the paramedic route? Are you going to add that as well? So how's fire been?
Good.
So it's been what, 5 years for you now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, January of 18 was beginning.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I think you told me you got hired on. We went to Evie's or Evie's. I think it was New Year's Day. I think you were going to some big shindig out east.
Yeah, that would have been back when we were doing bonfires for New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
Christmas tree bonfires.
that was it. I started my sobriety the next day because I went sober for a year and 2 months.
Quitter.
I say that as I got 2 freaking tumblers filled with beer. So what's next for you in fire? Like, what's the next thing that you can do? Like, how do you advance or progress, better your career?
Just like military, you progress in rank, and there's still a rank structure, which next rank involves schooling through the state, and so more schooling, and then once you get some time in, you're eligible to promote.
Are
But
you county or city?
we're a district.
Okay, so it's a combined effort essentially.
Kind of.
How does that work?
So our county, instead of the county being as a whole, it's split up into districts, and each district is its own entity.
Okay. Um, yeah, because I was curious about that because the other day I was talking to my buddy and I was like I know the county's got fire, but does the city have fire? And if so, how does that work?
Their city
Uh,
has that city has its own fire as well.
okay, yeah, I
But
was curious because I guess there was a gas leak. Well, you weren't at that gas leak at the Papa John's, were you? On what was it, 43rd? The other night, yeah, there was like 12 plus trucks there and local police, county, had the whole road and everything shut down. It was wild.
yeah, when you get stuff on jurisdictional borders, you get everybody.
Okay. So I'm curious as to what the hell requires that many people for like a gas leak.
Uh, Trying to narrow it down where it's
Oh, so they're trying to find the actual leak?
finding
Okay.
actually, but then if you don't know and the whole building fills with gas, natural gas, yeah, and you get one ignition source and a spark, bad day.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
we're
Um,
we're trying to at the end of the day, we're trying to mitigate the emergency or dangerous situation, whether that be shutting off the gas to the building and opening up all the windows, doors, and bring in some fans and ventilate to remedy the situation safe, or if it's when these directional borers or construction crews hit the underground gas lines, I mean, you have a whole another bad day situation there. Because basically, we're the first hand people on scene before the gas company arrives.
yeah, I mean it was wild. I'm like, man, I'm like, what the hell is going on over there? And I'm getting closer and closer, and I was like, holy shit! They were like, I would say at the minimum 12. I
Mm-hmm.
think there were more. I mean, half a dozen cops. Whoever's got the SUVs, they were there as well. I mean, everyone's freaking lights were on. It was a freaking Christmas light show.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, you have such
so
gas is such a dangerous situation because it one little spark. So you gotta evacuate surrounding areas depending on the severity. But it's always good to have too many people and then
yeah,
slowly get rid of them, and then
yeah.
instead of having something go south and then you're calling in people because now you're getting potentially 5, 8, 10 minute responses.
Were you working that scrapyard the other day?
No, thank God. I think
Um,
that's the second time it's caught on fire this year.
yeah, I know. I live out near it. I can freaking see it from the house. And my brother and my roommate work for a county right next door,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Hey, don't take 41. The scrapyard's on fire again." I'm like, "What? What? You may know this better than I do, but what the hell at a scrapyard is catching on fire? Like, to that extent? Because I was, where 275 goes over 75, that big overpass right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on that overpass at like 10, but yeah, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I could see the flames from the overpass on 275.
Yeah.
And Mom, why are you texting me? My mother's watching this right now and texting me at the same time. Um, but yeah, I mean, those flames had to be 40, 50 foot high.
Oh yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
once it's hot enough.
but I mean, what's cooking off? It's metal. It's a scrapyard.
It all depends on what's inside that metal. Like it's a scrapyard, so you have no idea what you're getting. But
I think that's so is my brother on here too? What are you guys incapable of commenting on the video?
well, the
Kind
one
of
guy,
hard. Sorry, everyone's texting me. It's like there's a comment section in the fucking live feed. Um, yeah, I've been really curious about that because the last time it went was crazy, and I was like, "There's no way this is gonna happen." So, do they end up charging? They got to charge the scrapyard for time.
that's out of my hands. That's that's all that's all jurisdictional, and at the end of the day, like they pay their taxes, so it's kind of what they pay for. So
I mean, to tie up that many firefighters for freaking like 15 plus hours.
yeah, well,
Um,
that's all
so
that's all admin level and above.
so when I was in New England for a little bit, like structure fires were every other hour there was a structure fire in New England. Someone's freaking heaters go, or God knows what freaking building from the 1800s. It was made of particle boards on fire. Are there lots of structure fires here in our area? Because I mean, I know they happen, but they
Hmm.
don't seem as common here as I saw up north.
No, like you have a whole different ball game of construction. Most of your homes now are block in a way, different construction. Newer style homes versus, like you said, those old wood frame homes up there. It's just a weight and matchstick. They don't have the gypsum board for drywall. So like down here we have drywall that's rated for, like, if it starts getting hot, it's got like water pellets in a way in it to where it creates a steam, so it kind of controls.
Okay.
Every once in a while, like you'll get most of them cooking, dryer fires, and then lightning. And it's the lightning strikes that just go unnoticed.
So that kind of caveats me into a business that you started. Are you still doing that?
I am.
Um so I don't remember the name. I think you had something cool. I remember you had a cool name. I wanted to kind of talk about that and how that's going because I know that you mentioned the dryer fires.
Hmm.
You're cleaning out vents, are you not, to prevent
Yeah.
basically fire preventative, maintenance. So let's touch into that a little bit.
Good old
Oh,
Nick.
that's my brother, Bob Gasm. This is my fourth one. You finally chime in.
Yeah.
Um,
Now the it's good. It's basically I was working for a friend who does it as well, and he's down in the south, and he's all right. Work for him. Say, hey, what are you doing your day off? My day off, least amount as possible. And he goes, all right, I need some help. Okay, I'll come help you.
Fuck you. Hey, you know what? Get out of here. I don't even want you in here. Actually, you know what? Stay. I need the watch hours.
Boot him.
Yeah, put me on mute.
Put him
You
on mute.
are the weakest link. Goodbye.
You're banned from commenting.
Yeah, comment
Uh,
banned.
so like least amount as possible, and now all of a sudden he said, all right, I'm tired of driving up north, so go start your own business. And here I am 3 years later, just doing the dryer vent cleaning.
So, how long does that take, and what do you charge for that?
Roughly 30 to 45 minutes, and I charge 85.
Oh, that's not bad. So, you've been pretty busy with it?
Yeah. And every year I increase my clients, so it's progressing and getting repeat customers now, and it's good. I enjoy it.
How often should someone do that?
I recommend every 2 years.
Every 2 years? Okay.
I know some companies will say every year. I know one company tells people every 6 months, and he also charges $140. So,
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
of course, he's going to tell every 6 months to
Yeah.
guarantee $280.
Yeah, quarterly.
I try to be fair.
Okay. All right. Are you wanting that to take over your fire time, or are you just gonna? Okay.
It's supplemental.
Okay, makes sense. So
Beer,
it's great that it's there, but it's not going to be a
no,
permanent like replacement. Okay.
no. It's beer and gas and packed retire. And
So it was the valet when we were valeting.
yeah,
Some extra money.
I'd still be valeting if they didn't make me try and reapply.
Listen, you were not missing anything with that company. You know they canned me after I was a regional manager, right?
Nice.
So get this. Oh no. Okay, hold on. I don't want to get into it yet because it kind of caveats into our final discussion. So, shit. Okay, I'm gonna wait a second. So I want to get into our final discussion, which is how we met and kind of how it. I'm not gonna say kind of how it helped me, but how it really helped me. You were like really instrumental into helping me get back on my feet after my it was after my big surgery. Um, and honestly, I don't know what the hell I'd have done without you. So I kind of want to get into that a little bit. So we were in you were in the funeral honors program. And it's crazy how I got into it because I had just got back from overseas. I paid off a shit ton, and I mean shit ton of debts with my overseas money. And then like a dummy, I kind of blew that little bit that I profited. But I didn't realize that when I got back, I was going to have this big surgery, hospitalize me for, I think it was 21 days, have me out of work for months. So I thought I was just going to get back, kick ass, do what I need to do. But it ended up being really bad. Like I was debt free when I got back from overseas, which was good. Like I didn't have any money, but I was debt free and I was cool. I was cool with that. And so I ended up moving to Sarasota with my buddy Daniel. I'm actually moving a little too quick though. I volunteered for Irma. That was it. I did 40 days in the Keys for Irma, and while I was in a FEMA tent, I saw someone with that big ass honor guard freaking tab, and I asked some questions about it. I was like, "Hey, what's the honor guard? How do you get into it?" And blah blah blah. And he's like, "Well, I know the NCOIC, whoever the director was. Who was it before Sanchez?"
Man, you would say, hold on 1 second.
Because I think Sanchez replaced this person. Or maybe it was Sanchez. I don't know. Oh no, it was Dave at the time.
Well, there's Dennis too.
I don't think I met Dennis. I think it was Dave at the time.
Okay.
I think there was some weird transition before, or maybe Sanchez was on deployment.
They bounced back and forth for a while because.
Or he was at a school. I don't know. It was Dave. Because
the sergeant first class that was doing it, he went casualty affairs.
So I didn't meet him. It was Dave. And so I called Dave And he's like, "Hey, come, come watch a service." He's like, where do you live?" And I told him I'm in Sarasota, and at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, come watch a service. Come to the Nash and watch one." And I meet that goofy fuck who I just bumped into at McDill the other day. I'm at McDill, like, freaking going to the commissary or picking up some random crap, and like I turn around in line, and here's this big bearded goofy looking fuck just standing right behind me. He's like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" Just trying to get some discounted shit. And yeah, I think I started training with you guys. I started training with you, and you lived close to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was bumming some rides from you, and I was explaining to you, like, "Hey, I'm not really working. Like, this is all I got. Like, I'm getting my fucking ass whooped." And you turned me on to the valet.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of really got me set up with the funeral honors program, which was awesome. You really got me moving, and I'm not gonna say that Sean and Dave weren't instrumental. I mean, even Jesse was, instrumental to shit. But you were like the guy up until
Mm-hmm.
you weren't the guy, and you helped me out a lot. You helped me put some money in my pocket, and then I ended up getting the job valeting with you, and then I really started putting money in my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up buying a car. You remember the P-Mobile, that little thing? I actually miss that car. I got that sucker for 2 grand from God, what was that little Spanish guy's name we used to valet with? You remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh God, I love that guy. Um, but yeah, I got my wheels because I was Uber and I was spending ridiculous amounts of money on Uber. I was like freaking breaking even every day, and it sucked so bad. But once I finally got some wheels and finally got things going, but like that was because of you. Like that was really honestly because of you. Like if you didn't take me to services, if you didn't get me that job, if I didn't bum rides with you to and from where we were going, like I wouldn't have got that car. I wouldn't have picked up more hours. I end up being able to go on ADOS for a while, which helped me. I started getting ahead and I was making
Yeah.
money. I was saving money. I was going to more services. Like I didn't have to just stay at the Nash. Now I'm going everywhere. I would drive to the GSA now. I could take the GSA where I need to go. It helped me out tremendously. Like I would say there was probably like a 4 month stint between, because I think I bought that car in like January, early January to mid February, and I think I started with you guys like October. So I would say there was like that 4 month stint, and like I said, like you were like instrumental to my success during that time. Like if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have got that car. I wouldn't have got ahead. I wouldn't have got the extra hours, the extra shifts, and freaking. So
Yeah, you definitely busted your ass.
I did, and I appreciate you for that because I don't think I ever forgot about it because I fucking didn't. Um, I really appreciate you for that time. But I ended up growing with the company at that location, and then I took off for a while. Well, when I came back, I called the company. I said, "Hey, I'm back. I'm looking for a position." And they had a manager position at a location that I didn't like, that they wanted to give to me, and I didn't like the salary. And so I declined it.
Mm-hmm.
They called me about 2 weeks later. They upped the salary $2,500. I declined it. They called me a week or so later. They upped it an additional $1,500. I said, "Listen," I'm like, "you all are barely at the minimum that I want." I said, "Meet me halfway from my minimum and where you are right now, and I'll take it, but I will only take it until something better opens. I don't want to sit here on this spot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up giving me my own location, and it was going good. The client was great. The people were great. The staff was kind of whatever. But after about 4 months, the location that I wanted to take wasn't opening. And so they're like, well, how about you oversee that location? Why don't you become a regional manager? Because they ended up finding out where I live. So they're like, well, you're kind of centralized for a bunch of our areas. Why don't you take over some of our Bradenton areas, some of our Sarasota areas, some of our St. Pete areas, some of our Tampa areas? We've even got one in where was it? Lakeland. So they slapped that responsibility on me, gave me a pay increase and a cool title, and that was going good. It was more stressful because the higher up I got with the company, the more I realized I knew they did some snaky shit.
Oh, yeah.
But the higher up I got, the more snaky I noticed it was getting.
I'll
And
still ever get free parking at a Bucks game. So, okay, I work for this company. And they're like, yeah, it don't matter. I was like, just.
I got it one time. I think it was that freaking game that we were both out. I'm like, I saw the name. I'm like, pull in. I'm like, I got my work shirt right here. I got my shit that says regional manager on it. I'm like, bro, I'm parking in this spot. I'm not paying. And they're like, oh, well, I got to call, the executive director and make sure that that's okay. I was like, no. I'll call the executive director and I'll tell him that I parked there. I'll call the owner if I have to. I've got his number too.
Yeah, that company sucked.
No, they were horrible. So get this. They're like, hey, listen, we've got a single location, which was the location that I wanted. Single location opens up. We want you to take over that location, which I already oversaw it as a regional. I'm like, this is a demotion from regional manager to operations manager. And they're like, well, hear me out. We want to give you the same salary, but a lot less responsibility.
Deal.
I was like, okay, say less. Well, I was catching on to a lot of their crooked stuff. And when I left that regional manager position, there were no managers at a couple of my locations. And now there's no regional manager, but they were still charging the clients for manager hours and regional manager hours. Nice. And my clients are calling me. They're like, we're getting these bills. We haven't seen you. I'm like, I'm not regional manager anymore. I'm like, there is no manager for that. And the clients started realizing that they were stealing from them.
Mm-hmm.
So my clients start dropping off. They're like, hey, we're dropping our contract with you. I was like, hey, good for you guys. You should. But they weren't my clients anymore. And
so
the company was trying to get me to do some shady stuff at my location, and I flat out told them no. So in that same month, I have a car show up. They're like, hey, I want to speak to the manager. So it's like, all right, cool. So I go out there, I start talking to this guy, and a little African American dude gets super racist, starts cussing up a storm and screaming and making a big scene. He's blocking traffic. He gets out of his car. He wants to fight people. And I'm completely calm with this guy. He looks at one of my employees and says, I'm going to come back and end your life tonight. So I was like, no, there we go. I said, get in your fucking car. You can get the fuck out of here. I'm like, the professionalism's over, guy. I'm done with you. I said, get the fuck out of here right now. I radioed security. I even told security to get SO on the horn.
Yeah, we try to be nice.
Yeah, so the security guard shows up and hears me cussing at this guy. So reports it to his boss, who reports it to my client. And my client's like, listen, I get what went on, but still, we got to be professional here. I'm like, okay. He's like, I want to give you a 3-day suspension, no pay. I was like, okay, cool. They call the company, and the company's like, hey, so we spoke with the client, and he wants to let you go for what happened. So I was like, okay, well, do you guys have any other locations that I can go to? Or they're like, no, since you got fired, we can't have you at any location. I'm like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So they're like, oh, and by the way, you can't reach out to the client. I reach out to the client. He goes, I didn't want you fired. I just wanted you to take a 3-day suspension. They shit can me because I would help them steal from clients. And they were waiting for the first opportunity to come up to say, okay, cool, we got him now. He's gone.
Did you tell the client, oh, by the way, they're stealing from you?
Oh yeah. I was like, okay. I started calling everyone. I was like, let me see your the hours you got billed for. They showed me the hours that they got billed for. I said, oh, what a coincidence, because these are the hours that I submitted for this month. And the hours you got billed are way higher than the hours that I submitted. So, way higher. So, like 100 extra hours. So, yeah, they were throwing in hours. They were throwing in fees for managers that didn't even exist. They're like, oh, yeah, you have to pay for a regional manager, and they'll show up once a week. I was the regional manager. It was the only regional manager freaking like 3 years.
Yeah.
You all are getting screwed. So a lot of people ended up dropping them. Most of my clients dropped them. I had like 8, and I think there's only 2 of them still with them.
You should have started your own business right then and there.
Honestly, I thought about it. I really did, but I'm on a which I'll be honest with you, I'm on a 2-year non-compete with them.
So have your buddy start one.
Yes, which is what I've been telling him, but he doesn't fucking listen. If you're watching this, or my brother.
Yeah, insurance is expensive.
But I don't know if so. You were there for Bobby. Were you there for the manager after Bobby?
Bobby with the knee?
Bobby had a knee issue?
No, Bobby with the last name starts with an E.
At the valet. He was a manager.
So
I don't remember Bobby's last name now I think about it.
Well, is he the one that got employed by the hospital immediately afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, were you there for the next manager?
Yeah, Kayla.
I despise that woman.
She's the one that said, I told her, I was like, hey, I have to go away for 2 weeks. I'll be back. Oh, you were gone for 2 weeks. You have to apply. What? I gave you a 2 week.
Brian, Matt left for 2 years. Came back. They're like, oh, yeah, we got all your information right here. You're good. For 2 years.
Yeah, I left.
Matt still works for them. So the new manager that replaced Bobby, he started his own company. Well, Dum Dum put out a bid for the location he was managing for his own company. It got back to these guys, and they sued the shit out of them.
Well, you want to know why the whole do not compete clauses are in effect? Because so the one before Bobby was Matt.
Yes. Oh, he's a piece of work with his tight ass pants.
But he got employed by the hospital. Then Bobby went and got employed by the hospital. So the company was pissed that those people got employed by the hospital and were losing managers. So that's why if you put 7-2 or whatever on your application, the hospital said, nope. So technically, they cost me a job because I applied for an EMT position at the hospital, and they're like, no. And they never officially said that, but I was like, I just put two and two together. Hospital. But I wasn't in management, so it wasn't matter. I was just an at-will. Essentially, I was an at-will. I didn't have to sign a contract.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pissed me off. I was like, you fuckers.
The company I'm working for now is actually really cool. So the owner is a former Division I athlete. He was, I think he was a quarterback. I don't remember. Um, and him and his brother were both Division I athletes. His brother went on to being the head coach at Ole Miss. He was I think he was the running back coach for a little bit, but then he moved on to be the director of training or something. I don't know. He had some medical issues. I think he's got a brain drip. I'm not 100%, but he's losing hearing on his right side. He couldn't coach anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up putting him in a different position, but his medical conditions got worse and they retired him in like the mid 2000s. But he's a super cool guy. He's got some contracts with the PGA Tour, which is pretty cool. So we'll go and do all the parking for the PGA events, and then we just
I told you I want in on the next PGA event.
I will hit you up on that. It's not. I mean, the money that I made wasn't great to be gone for a week, but it was decent. I did make a good chunk of change. It was decent. Had I stayed here in Valet, I would have made more money. But nice hotel room outside of Savannah, Georgia. 3 free meals. I wasn't paying for food. Wasn't paying for travel. And I mean, we were eating, dude. We were getting freaking ribeyes for dinner. I mean, dude, it was good. So
you might not have made more money in your pocket, but you definitely didn't have any expenses.
No, it was awesome. And like I said, we were going to Savannah. We were drinking. We had a great time. So I will. If they're asking for names next time, I think there's one coming up in March or April. If there's one coming up, I'll let you know. It was easy. It was super easy. I mean, they were early mornings, but I was done by like 1, 2 o'clock, and then I'm watching golf, and then from there I'm going to dinner, and then from there I'm going to Savannah. It was sweet.
Valane's easy.
There's nothing hard about it at all.
And yet, the wonderful coworker still wrecked a shit ton of cars in that parking garage. Oh, and I love it now that you guys are allowed to park on levels 1 and 2. Versus,
well, you say you guys, like if I still work for that location and that company. But
I was so pissed. I was like, oh great, now they go back.
Yeah. All right, so we are approaching an hour. I think we hit all of our discussions. Brian, I like to always ask if anyone has like a question for me. Like I've had some discussion questions for you. Do you have anything for me?
No, man, it's pretty good.
Cool. All right, so I like to give a second. I'll give a minute or two for any Q&A because I have a delay between our conversation, the live conversation, and a comment delay. So I'll give like 2 minutes for that. We can just BS for a second. See what anyone has to say. We had a few people on here. My brother dipped. It looks like. Yes, I told him to fuck off. So, these have been helping.
Is he the one that works at the county?
Yes.
Oh, well,
yes.
Yeah. Tell him to get to work.
Yeah. Actually, he's on maternity leave. He's using FMLA. He's like, I'm milking this shit. He's been with the county for like 15 years. He's like, nope, I'm taking every second they offer me.
Hey, FMLA is there for a reason.
Hey, he's taking more time than his wife is. He's like, fuck it.
If it's allowable by the federal government, take it.
Yeah. You still playing softball?
Oh yeah.
I was just thinking about this the other day. You gotta text me when one of your games are. I want to show up. I'll totally go and watch a game.
We got a tournament next weekend.
Next weekend.
The 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, I know. He's got to be still on here. He's texting me. Are you still in here?
Who?
My brother. Maybe he is still in here. He just texted me. He don't text me. Listen. I have to call him 20 times, and
I don't
he'll.
know. There's 3 people here. How can I see?
I don't know.
Here's mine. Hold on, let's do a TikTok.
He said.
Nope. Then shit.
Oh my god. My mom said FML stands for fuck my life. No, it's FMLA, Mom. It's like Florida Medical Leave Association or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, Brian, fucking beat the shit out of your phone. That's how you can. That's how you can see the people.
Yeah, but no, wait. But now all the comments are up, and I can't get rid of them.
Damn. So, where's this tournament at? Oh, shit! I won't be here next weekend. I'm going to Utah. Road tripping from Utah back. I'm gonna hit the Four Corners and a couple other things.
Are you doing that crap with Dave?
No, but listen. I told Dave to start a YouTube channel. I'm telling you right now. He's trying to do these like crazy less than 24-hour day trips. I'm like, bro, day trips with Dave. Show people how you can be the cheapest fuck and still go on a day trip.
Not only that, you get paid to drive somebody else's vehicle and take a day trip.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Where's the Utah anyway? Oh my god. Look up a map. I can't believe he's still in here. Oh, we got another one in here now. All right. If you guys are in here, Q&A, what do you got? Bobby, ask a real question. Dave trips? No, date. Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, all right. So I was oh my god. I've been laughing about this for freaking like 2 months now. I've been telling my brother that I want to buy embroidery machines to make my own patches for these hats. And just do my own thing, do my own, sell my own merch and just come up with my own design.
I'll invest.
I'm down. I mean, you know how much these go for.
Yeah.
These trucker hats are freaking $30. Well, if you buy them in bulk, they're like $2, and then it costs like 30 cents to make the freaking patch.
I'll invest.
Let's do it.
How much do you need?
30 grand. I need a cash only. No. We can actually have this discussion to the side. But
I'll be your Shark Tank.
My brother's like, hey, so people who make hats, it's called haberdashery. So my brother's like, you should also sell feet pics. And my brother's always fucking with me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll sell feet pics. He goes, so instead of Abercrombie and Fitch, you could be haberdashery and feet. And I was like, oh, I hate your fucking guts.
Well played. Well played.
It's good. So, all right. I don't think I have any comments. Brian, I want to get with you about your softball tournament. Let me see what days you are working haberdashery and feet. I called him immediately in tears laughing. He's in tears laughing. Like he answers the phone and we are both laughing. It was so fucking funny. It was so funny. I do want to get with you about your softball because I would love to go to a game. I've been telling my buddy Michael, I was like, hey, let's go to one of our friends' softball games or something. We need to get out, have some fun, cheer someone on. So if you need a designated runner, I'm not your guy.
Next weekend's the super draft tournament. So you don't sign up as a team. You sign up as an individual, and
they just place you?
Well, there's 40 coaches this year, and they literally hold a draft.
I was going to say, there's got to be a draft. That's freaking... Where's this at?
St. Pete, Woodlawn.
Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything going on Saturday, but I am dipping.
It's the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, cool. So I will actually try and do that. That sounds awesome. Let me see what my schedule looks like. I'm leaving the morning of the 8th out of Orlando. But that sounds cool. I've literally been talking about that for a week or two.
I mean, it's only right up the road, so just
no, it's not far. I'm 10 minutes from 275, so yeah. I can hop right up there.
Give me a call when this ends.
Yeah, I will. I was going to do that anyway. All right. Q&A's over. If you didn't ask your questions, you're good. Bobby, Haberdashery. I fucking hate your guts. Daniel, I appreciate you. Brian, I appreciate you too. And again, everyone watching in post, I appreciate you guys as well. Stay tuned for next week's live. I don't know I might know who I'm bringing on. I just haven't got an answer yet. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Brian, thank you. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
You're welcome. See you.
All right, Brian, you're the man. I'll call you in a minute.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.